I'm so excited about today because I have the wonderful opportunity to speak with Viola Edward. She is an award-winning psychotherapist and executive consultant, as well as a world-renowned breathworker and now best-selling author on Amazon. Hi, Viola. It's nice to see you again.
Hi, so happy to see you. Yes.
So I wanted to talk with you a bit about your new book, the reason why you are a number one best-selling author on Amazon. It's called Who Makes the Bed? Now, I understand that originally this had been self-published in 2017, and it's recently been published, released by your publisher named Beyond Publishing.
Yes.
And that's how it was sent out on Amazon. So, can you tell me a little bit more? What is Make the Bed about?
Yes. Who make the bed is about how many agreement we have to do in a relationship. Every relationship is a word by itself. When they ask me how many styles of relationship there is, I said, as many relationship there is styles because every relationship create their own style. And sometimes this style is very functioning. So who makes the bed in my story is that I didn't care much about making the bed, but I do care about changing the sheets frequently. While my lover, my husband, he loved to make the bed every day, like it's his meditative place in contemplation. And as engineer, he does it like perfect. So we were laughing about what is our need. So in our home, he makes the bed, I change the sheets. So but it's symbolic about we were talking about with a friend about the title of the book, and we were telling her that story, and she said this is the title because it's what represents. So I think in a relationship it's so important how many agreement we do. This agreement is good fun, but sometimes we need to do agreement about areas that we disagree, and we need to agree that we don't agree, and the other agreement is about the areas that nobody wants to do. Who's going to do that, these things. So it's about how much in a relationship love is great, but it's not enough if we don't have communications, effective communication tools, skills, strategies, how the love will be diminished. And you all know that almost 50% of the people that go to divorce is not because of lack of love, it's because of lack of communication and lack of finding ways how they can make life be more smooth and more um, beautiful for both of them. Yes.
That is so important, especially communication and connectivity with each other. I think people are getting they're prioritizing that a lot more, considering the current situation with the pandemic and how we've had to change our lives and spend more time together or spend our time in a different way. Could you talk a little bit about with communication, particularly with your loved ones? Um, what is one key takeaway that you would like for our audience here to have to kind of improve that area of their life?
Yes. Well, we come from different culture. Not only in my case or your case, Mel, that we come from literally different country. I even almost from different generation in my case. It's about even when you meet or when you try to create a home with the one who was your neighbor and you grow up together. Also, every time there is two people who meet to create a relationship, there will be cultural issues because the way how we did think at home is so different. And the way how we connect, the way how we love is the way how we traditionally understand is related to our values, to our principles. So this is very important to understand that it's not related that how much he or she loves me. It's about what she or he understand this episode. Yes. So active listening is very important. Being vulnerable and say what does it mean for you is very important. And go to specific is very important. So Mr. Rosenberg put it in this way in the nonviolent communication is there are these four beautiful steps. Yeah. I observe that you do this. I observe myself when this situation happened. I feel so and so. I feel so violated. I need to be respected. Yeah, we do say these things, but what does it mean in the other person word? So then the fourth step will be my requirement is that please don't shout at me or tell me with time or please advise or be on time or because when I say I need respect, I feel unloved. It's so vast that the other one cannot measure it. But when I go to that fourth step, it's very important when I clearly said what is my specific requirement. So I observe, I feel, I need, and my requirement is. This is one of the key thing about communication. And for example, I was told, but I'm not shouting. This is my tone of voice. For example, that could be. But no, I live with you. I know what is your tone of voice. Oh no, no, no! I was not saying that. That was just a joke. No, but come on. I live with you. I know when you're joking and when you're being cynical or when you're trying to hurt me. So when the two people go into a way to minimize the conflict, when really both of them, so we show more vulnerable about also when we go into conflict is what is the situation and talk about the situation more than quickly go to solve the conflict, because if we don't go into the root of the situation, the conflict will reappear. So there is a lot of story about if I have 1 hour to talk about our conflict, let's talk 50 minutes about the situation and then 10 minutes about the solution, because maybe we will solve it. And also always in conflict, see what is it that it work between us. Always go into the situational encouragement because there are things that work between you. And also ask yourself, what will be the worst scenario if we don't solve this conflict? What is the worst scenario? Face that too, because many couples they don't want to face it. Yeah.
Yes, that is so key. I find that that really resonates with me. So,
Mhm.
and I'm sure to our viewers as well. I would like to take another step back, and I'm just so intrigued with all the your experience and all that you have to offer. So, why is it that you do this? Why what got you involved in helping people and being the psychotherapist, this world-renowned breath worker? You are obviously extremely passionate. So why?
Well, when I was a child, I was so fascinated by human behavior. Sometimes I will quote the adult, like why they are doing this, like this is not logical, this is, like I think I was so quiet as a child. And we went into big drama in our life because my dad passed away suddenly from a heart attack when he was 29. I was 3, my mom was 24. She was pregnant with my sister Layla come into life with a lot of difficulties. It took her 1 year fighting between life and death. So my home was like from being a loving, peaceful, glorious place to be. My dad was a musician, and I'm the first one. And you know, it come to this situation of chaotic and pain, and it seems like I went in me, but I kept my radars. I can see now when I work with some children, I can see how we keep our radars observing and analyzing in the way how we can, because in some moment we cannot interpret the abstract thought. We even don't understand what is death, like at my age at 3, but we make a way how we can survive. So for me it was a love always. And I was 11 when I get hand of first book of Freud, and like 12 when I get the first one of Jung. I understood almost not much of it, but my mom, I remember my mom's telling me, you're again with this book with this man, what is it this book about? And I remember that just staying long time with those books. And I just wanted to understand, and everybody knew that I'm going to be psychologist and or sociologist. And then life also had many more surprises for us. So at 13 we migrate from Lebanon to Venezuela just before the Lebanese war, and that gets our family again ups and down because we migrate first time from Iraq to Lebanon and then Lebanon to Venezuela. And then And then I had to work at the age of 13. So my studies were interrupted, but actually my love for human behavior was not interrupted. So I kept reading, I did homeschooling, and I get enrolled at a very early age with certain dynamic like transactional analysis. I was fascinated by transpersonal psychotherapy. And then slowly, as much as as I was growing up and having my own money to pay for my courses, so I managed to choose teachers and go to them and do courses. So my love for psychology is as long as I have memory of myself almost. And for that, so whenever I manage after 21 years of being working in the corporate world, but it was time for me to go after my dream. And well, I was 34 when I managed to stop that my career as I was in the insurance sector and start my own centers and start working with people, training people. And soon after I had another company of consultancy in the 90s because I knew what happened in the companies inside because I've been there for 21 years. And now I know more about human behavior. So we were pioneer in early 90s to actually to work about emotional intelligence to bring the emotion and why it's so important to heal and the balance emotion in the workplace. So yeah, it's fascinating my work being in the session room with one person or one couple because I also specialize in relationship or being in the field of businesses and corporate and working about communication, motivation, or situational leadership, or whatever is the subject from the perspective of being trained as a psychotherapist and breath worker.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing your journey. And that really does, hearing more about it, it really does make sense with how you came about with your first book, which is Breathing the Rhythm of Success, Reflections and Exercises to Transform Your Daily Experience into the Celebration of Life. Yes, beautiful plug. There's the book. And can you talk just a little bit about that? I'd like to touch on that because that is a really good foundation. I've had the pleasure of reading that book and really appreciate the exercises that are in there and
Yeah.
how that was kind of a stepping stone. Mm.
Yeah, because as I told you, I was all these young girl who wanted to eat the word and to do so many things, and but at the same time I was a child in the adult world. So I didn't manage very well. I managed, but on the other hand, I didn't manage. I ran into addictions. I had these thought of being a victim, that of being like I can't trust life. As soon as I relax, something gonna happen, and ups and down my life gonna be again. So these kind of negative thinking that were so um, persistent in my life. But of course, you know how we select from the experience in life what it fit with our idea of life. So that was always like it was like a situation that I'm walking, I'm running to achieve something, and all this negativity will be pulling me back all the time. And it was a process so painful that I could not manage without the cigarette and the alcohol and all the things that we numb ourselves with to be was the this idea to be able to cope. So it was fascinating for me when I was in my early 30s and I start understanding the possibility of shifting paradigm. But
Mm.
how you're going to shift the paradigm if you don't know what is your major paradigm about yourself and the world? So for that we have this name in the breathwork tendency I work with methodology, which we call personal law. The personal law is like this one negative thinking that is so much repetitive in your life that become a law and you will follow the law. It's like I'm not good enough in, I'm not good, and I'm not gonna make it at, and how to catch it, it's like a gardener that is not only planting new plant or flower, is to be able to know what is the soil and what is the kind of weed that is there. So to be able to clean that and to be able to plant the new one and to take care after you plant it from the other weed that's going to go along around. So this book is about that in a very simple way. It's filled with exercises so you can catch yourself and transform to what in reality you are. And then I wrote it in the 90s, and then it was all this boom about having about being in connection with your purpose and with your vision. Before we used to talk about diplomacy mission or military mission or religious mission. Individual will not be related to that. So it was the time that we get in touch with all that. So how you build your own vision, how you get in connection with your purpose, because there's so many things that we're good at, but how to make a sense of who you are in which was who you are and what you're gonna do and for who and for what. So this first book is about that and all the breath work, because the conscious breathing, the thread of the conscious breathing is what gonna make you to understand that while you are breathing, you're alive, and when you're alive, you have infinite possibilities. And when you understand these not only as a concept, but in your own body, and you're working with your traumas, and breath work is also a somatic therapy, so your body gets rid also out of this memory that you hold for so long. Is quite dynamic. It's just marvelous, and I get into all that in my early 30s, and just I revive, and this is where I've been in for so long now.
That is really thrilling, and also foundation growing. So thank you for that. And it reminds me a lot of your newer endeavor, which is the Grit Academy and all of the opportunities and lessons that are available through that. So can you please tell our audience what is Grit Academy?
Yes, well, obviously one thing Michael catch it, Michael, my husband, catch it about, he we were writing an article about me, and he said Viola's lifestyle and grit, and we get into the research about grit and all the work that Angela Duckworth did about grit, and we were fascinated by it, and then we were creating business and creating the acronym of what's our business name gonna be. And we were talking about growth. I wanted to be linked with the breathing. So, but it's like inspiration to inspire and to inspire. But also one of my biggest subject is about how your inner resources are your major capital. This is your currency you're taking everywhere you go. And then the life itself, that is a continuous transformation. And then we were working with all these together, and Leila come, my sister Leila, my partner, said, it's great. It's growth, it's resource, it's inspire and transform. So we were so happy to come with this name that means the great, the force, the drive, the passion, and at the same time our acronym. So and we were working on it when the COVID kicked in, and just we went very quickly and built it up, and is an academy online that have different program. Now we have two signature program. One of them is a 7 weeks self-development program. It's the relationship with yourself, which is the base of everything else. And we can talk hours about it. Why in your life as a leader, or in your life as a political leader, or as a business leader, why sometimes it's so hard, because the base of the intra-relationship maybe it's not worked out. So I want to take that to everywhere in the world. So it's 7 weeks, 2 hours a week, simple, deep, but accessible, good fun. You did it. We enjoy you very much when we were there. And the second program is to train people to be able to give the first program, to train the great coaches and mentors. So the idea, we already have it in English, in Spanish, in Russian, in Arabic, and Greek and French is coming soon. So the idea is to train as many people in the Norwegian, gonna come soon, and as much as possible, so many people can get access to that program, to feel better, to learn how to achieve their dreams, because many times we work so much for a dream that is not ours, that we inherited, or we copy it, or somebody put it on us. So the program to become a great star is a lot about to learn how to differentiate what's mine, what's not, what is stress, what is creative tension, what is attachment, what's detachment, what's my own dream, how do I get it, etc. Yes, it's very beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Viola. I really appreciate you sharing about your books and the Grid Academy, and most importantly, sharing a bit of yourself with all of us today. And so, is before we wrap up, I just would like to open up the floor. Is there anything else that you would like to leave our audience with?
Yes, well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and to thank people like you who really, really take part of their time to do this beautiful work that you're doing. It's like honoring communication, journalism, spreading the word of sustainability. And I'm very, very thankful to be in your life, to be your friend, and to have worked together in this beautiful interview. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you. Bye.